being human has such an effect on everybody that listens, right? And
Absolutely.
podcasts are just such a perfect medium to do that. You can really get to know somebody and realize that they are an actual person and appreciate things outside of work and aren't just people out there with like one mission to give you a vaccine or
Yeah,
something, like,
right, right. Well, and even if you are ostensibly talking about their work, other things come in because
hmm
it is a conversation. And I think that's exactly what you're saying, and that is the best part of it, I think. In addition to, you learn more about their work, and that's so cool, and you kind of stretch your brain in that way. But also seeing, hopefully, more sides of the person is really nice.
So how do you measure success for In the Same Vein? You know, is it finishing an episode, just publishing it and having it be a thing, or are you looking at metrics even in a project like this? Just curious, how you look at success here.
Yeah, I think the first thing is kind of the more holistic side of things. So the conversations with students like Bella
Yes.
afterwards, or with the interviewees, or with folks in my department or outside of my department, or even folks in other places across the country who I've had folks reach out to me and say like, "Oh, I'm using this episode in my class," or like, "I listened to this on my road trip," like blah 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 blah. That is really how I'm like, okay, so this is reaching some people who it's resonating with. Yes, of course, not everybody who loves or hates it is going to reach out to me, but like that is a measure of success, I think. And I forward those along to the students and try to make sure that they know that people are listening. And then, of course, yeah, I mean, I follow the metrics on
Sure.
audiobook and try to, and I have a look at, okay, which ones are more popular? Is that because I titled it not as grabby as I could have? Or is it because, this person, the interviewee, sent it out to a lot of people?
Right.
It's hard to tell exactly why you get more listens than another, or why one episode might get more listens than another. But of course, that is part of it. But I do try to focus more on like as you said, the human, the kind of conversations around it. Because you can get really bogged down in the numbers. And
hmm
I don't think that that's actually a good marker of a podcast like this that is about the humanities and is about humanizing and is about kind of figuring out how to exist in the medical world.
Yeah. I was having a similar conversation with my wife, who's an elementary school teacher, and she was saying, like, that's a tough job, and day in and day out, it can wear on you. But sometimes all it takes is a one message from a parent to be like, my kid loved this. Thank you so much for what you did. And it's like, oh, all right, I can go to school the rest of the year and do my job. And then like I
Absolutely.
said, I came back and was like, I'm like that with the podcast.
Right.
Cause like you can look and you get, on YouTube, 50 views, 20 views. And it's like, gosh, anybody's paying attention to this. But then I got, I'll get like one email saying, oh, this interview with so and so. I listened to it in the car. It was so great. It really,
Yes.
thanks for talking to him about this. And it's just like, all right, I can do it forever.
Exactly. No, that's exactly what I'm saying. And I think, yeah, teaching is another area where that
Mm,
happens.
yeah.
And I mean, elementary school is a whole other superhero level, but
Yeah.
even on kind of the university teaching level, that's the kind of feedback that you need to feel like you're doing something and people are maybe listening.
Yes, exactly. At least somebody got something from it.